Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube, Diggy546. This one is going to be Rashawn Slater. I wanted to look at some of his tape with you all. My takeaways when I look at his tape, I've seen it a couple of times, a couple of months ago. He didn't play last year. He played in 2019. He was an opt-out. But Rashawn Slater, to me, is a very mobile offensive lineman. He's a very mobile offensive lineman. He doesn't have the longest arms. That's why a lot of people want him to play guard, because sometimes he gets himself in trouble because he tries to punch and his arms are just too short to punch. But Rashawn Slater, to me, is very technically sound. He's very nimble on his feet. Some people try to say he's slow. I don't see that at all on tape when I watch Rashawn Slater. He might be a better guard. But I do think that he can play tackle. Now, does he have the highest ceiling at tackle? I don't think so. I don't think he has the highest ceiling, but I do think that he could be a very, very effective guard. He could be a very effective tackle, but I think he can have that potential to be an elite guard in the NFL. So, Rashawn Slater is number 70. He's going to be your left tackle pretty much every time. He's your left tackle, so you don't have to look too much for him. But this is the game that everybody talks about where he basically shut down Chase Young right here. Nothing too crazy. Sometimes Chase Young lined up on the other side. That's where he got his sacks. But Rashawn Slater, when he lined up against Rashawn Slater, he didn't have much success. And this just shows you Chase is just going to just try to just use his speed as he usually does and is able to do against most people. But Rashawn Slater is able to use some technique and know that, he can just force him outside. So we'll just watch Chase come off the football. Of course, Chase Young is an elite player, and he just comes off the football, tries to get that outside and rip, but you can't really see from this angle. But Rashawn Slater has his hand in his chest, and he kind of pulls his left shoulder, so that way he can't really rip him. Force him to the outside, keep sliding his feet, gives his quarterback a spot to step up to, and his quarterback ends up running with it, and he ends up putting Chase Young on the ground. Ends up, throwing him on the ground. But this is what I like about Rashawn Slater. He doesn't have the longest arms, but he knows when to punch. And he knows when to finish like that. So here we go again with Rashawn Slater. He's number 70 once again. Big number 70 on the screen, working against Chase Young. And again, he's just going to slide his feet. Does a great job. He's got a little bit of help from 89, but he does a great job. But watch his left arm. Right in his chest. Right in Chase Young's chest. Know exactly when to strike him. Keeps that left arm on him. He doesn't panic that he's only got one hand on him. Keeps moving his feet and is able to recover, get his right arm there. And Chase, at this point, I love this, man. I love this because this is so smart. Chase Young is grabbing his arm. So he takes his other arm and just kind of puts it back in Chase Young's chest. So that way Chase Young can't really extend his arm. He has to work to get his arms back free. And that creates a whole couple more seconds. And Rashawn Slater still got his hands in his chest. So he finally rips him. But what is this, 3-4 seconds that have passed? Now this ends up being a sack. But Rashawn Slater, this is a great rep. Jab. Follow through with the other hand. He's got to work to get free. And I mean, that's all you can ask for against an elite passer. So let's watch it in full speed. Great rep. And again, this is why so many people project him as a guard. And obviously, if he comes to the Giants, this video is catered towards pretty much Giants fans and Bengals fans. I'm a quasi, Bengals because I'm a Joe Burrow fan. But he's going to be on one of these two teams, or maybe Cowboys, maybe the Dallas team. But Rashawn Slater, man, if he goes to the Bengals, he'll probably be playing tackle. And I think that the reps that I show of him at tackle, being great in pass protection, will translate over. He will be a solid pass protector. But people love him at guard. People love his projection at guard, which is probably what he would play for the Giants because of this mobility that he has, man. He's so great in the run game. So great, and he's so mobile and agile in the run game. So Number 70 again at left tackle, the only left tackle that you see on the screen, lined up across from Chase Young again. But he's not blocking Chase Young this play. He's going to basically just get right upfield, no bones about it, get right upfield and get to the second level. Now, it looks pretty simple, but some guards or some tackles even, they struggle to get up to that second level. They're too slow, but he gets up the field in a hurry. As you see me play this in real speed, he's up the field quick. Up the field quick. And if this running back wants to cut back into this lane, that's finished. I mean, that's a wide open gap. But he doesn't see that. But Rashawn Slater is still driving this dude, downfield. And, this ends up turning into a first down because of how great he gets to that second level and, neutralizes 39 completely. Again, Rashawn Slater, number 70, at your tackle spot, left tackle spot, lined up against Chase Young. He's going to do the same thing. Get right up the field. Right upfield. Number 39 is back in bad news again. Right where he doesn't want to be again. This time he's just said, let me just take my slide and get on the ground. I'll just get on the ground because I'm going to get laid out anyway. And that's a wide open gap caused by Rashawn Slater. And this is why people will love him at guard, because of this mobility. Always able to get to this second level so fast. And look how wide open this space is for this runner to run through. And I mean, I could show these plays all day of how great he is running, in the run game. Lined up against Chase Young again. Again, he's not really on Chase Young. It's not his responsibility to block Chase Young, but just to see a frame of reference of where he is. He's right here, right around where Chase Young is. And again, this time he's going to help. He's going to help the left guard with this D tackle here. Give him a little bump. And watch how quickly he bumps this guy, is able to turn and get a nice block and clear up this gap. Now, Chase Young is the superhero that he is and doesn't fall for it. Chase Young actually squeezes and blows this up and makes this tackle. And that's just what you deal with when you're playing against Chase Young. But if Chase Young doesn't blow this play up, and because they're waiting for this fullback to block Chase Young, I mean, that wasn't really a good idea. But if he doesn't blow this play up, you got a lot of running room because Chase Young is over here instead of right here in this gap. And this is a lot of running room. He's one-on-one with the safety, I think that is right there. He calls everybody looks like a safety at the linebacker spot. But yeah, that's actually a safety. But let's watch this in real time. He's going to block the D tackle, help his man out with the D tackle, and then get right to that second level. Quick. Boom. Boom. And that's wide open. That's wide open running space if the other guys are able to get ahead on Chase Young, which is tough to do. But it just shows how quickly he can work, move from a combo block to get into that second level so quickly. And I see this play as just movement is movement, man. Whether you're playing tackle or guard, this is just movement, and you love to see this. You love to see this. So, again, number 70 at left tackle, right up where you see this guy 33, right lined up in front of him is Rashawn Slater. And you're just going to see this down block where he's just going to move my guy out of the way. He's pulling here. Again, this is what he will be doing as a guard a lot. But if the Bengals take him and put him at tackle, you can pull him as a tackle, as you see here. And he's just pulling here, and he's going to find his man, and he's just going to move him. He's just going to move him, and this is his goal. This is his hole. This is his hole that he just created, and he's still moving him. He's still moving him. Still moving him. I mean, this is movement. This is what you just call just good old-fashioned movement. Boom. Now I'm taking you for a ride. Now, mind you, he's got another guy that's in front of him. He can't really get his foot in, but he took him for a ride, man. Took him for a ride. All right, so I'm going to show a couple of plays. On offensive linemen, you can't really just show all highlights. You got to show what they need to work on, what their deficiencies are. And here it just shows that he wasn't able to get enough leverage, and his arms are not the longest. And this is what you're going to see over the next couple of plays. If he doesn't have that perfect technique, if he doesn't have that perfect timing, he's going to face some issues in the NFL with some of these long arm guys, which in the NFL, most guys playing defensive end are long arm guys. And even, even inside now, you're dealing with a lot of long arm guys. So that's just something to keep in mind. But number 70, Rashawn Slater right here, he does a great job, getting out of his stance, but he doesn't get enough leverage. He's kind of high, and he's got 1 foot on the ground. Tries to kind of anchor, and it ends up being a hold. He kind of starts getting folded up, and ends up grabbing him. you got a handful of jersey right here, but he wasn't able to get leverage. You take your foot off the ground like that, and you're looking for trouble. You take your foot this far off the ground. It's one thing, if you're taking little steps or even a big step, but to have your foot this far off the ground, at this point, you're at my guy's mercy, and he just doesn't have the leverage, and he doesn't have the arms to make up for having bad technique. So anytime he doesn't have good technique, he's going to be a liability. And then you just see the hole right there, and he still makes the tackle. And you're going to see number 70 again right here at left tackle again, and this is just the same thing. If he doesn't have that perfect technique and perfect timing, if he misses his punch, he cannot make up for it as quick as other people can because of his arms. And right here, Rashawn Slater is going to miss the punch. He's just going to miss his punch. And 11 is just going to just swim inside. And he doesn't really have the ability to make up for that. And, once this guy gets into your chest, because with my man, with 11's hand right on his shoulder pad, it kind of makes it difficult for him to recover because he can't really, put out an arm and stop this dude right here. Some of the long arm tackles, they're putting out an arm in his chest, and that's like they got hit by a car. Like they get hit by a car in their chest plate. But he's not able to do that, and this ends up being a batted ball right here because of him being beat. And this last play I'm going to show you all is just a big no-no, especially against Chase Young. You cannot do this, man. You cannot do this. You have to get your hands inside. You got to get your hands on his chest plate, because if not, you're going for a ride. Because Chase Young has the perfect combination of size and speed and strength and technique. I mean, Chase Young is as clean a pass rush prospect as you can get, and you see that immediately translated to the NFL. But Chase Young is going to just be a beast off this edge, and just watch this in real time. He's going to get right in his chest and take Rashawn Slater for a ride. Now, the quarterback ends up getting this ball out, but you do not want to put your arms outside. He's late with this punch. Immediately lets this guy who's stronger than him and faster than him with longer arms get into his chest and just basically bull rush him. And you see he almost falls from this bull rush, and that's just not what you want. This is why people are scared of people with short arms, because if they miss their punch, he's not able to get his hands inside, and he's late with this punch, this is what's going to happen, and he cannot recover. You just can't recover from that. And this is what you don't want to do with Chase Young. This is probably one of the only good reps Chase Young had against him, but it just shows what happens when he's not flawless in his technique. And this ball should have been caught. But to give my overall thoughts on Rashawn Slater, I like him. I like him as a player. I think he can play tackle in the NFL. I think he has great technique, and more often than not, he's not getting exploited for having short arms. I think he's great with his timing, great with his technique overall, great with his ability to move around. And I would love to see him on a team where they pull their tackles a lot. If he plays that left tackle spot or plays right tackle, I would definitely like to see him moving a lot, getting to that second level. So Rashawn Slater is definitely, his strength is probably in the run game. I think he's going to be good in the pass game too, but his strength is definitely in the run game. He's very mobile in that way of doing that. But the only doubts is just the short arms. I mean, in the NFL, there are a bunch of guys like Chase Young. There are a bunch of guys, maybe not all the physical stats and all the physical ability that he has, just raw ability, but there are a bunch of guys with great technique, with long arms, that are strong, that are fast, that he's going to have to deal with. Now, he did a great job against Chase Young if you look at this game overall, but there were times where he let guys get into his chest, and that's going to be a recipe for disaster if he's not able to get his arms inside. I mean, that's the only problem with people with shorter arms. Now, when you move it over to if he comes to the Giants or if another team takes him and they put him at guard, I think Rashawn Slater can be a Pro Bowl, all-pro type of guard. He's so agile. He's so mobile. So I think he'd be a perfect pulling guard. I mean, he's strong at the point of attack while he's pulling. He's under control. He's quick to get to that second level. I would love him as a pulling guard, as a mobile kind of guard, a zone blocking guard. I think he could also play as a power guard, as a straight man blocking type of guard. But Rashawn Slater is without a doubt a top 15 pick to me. I mean, at the worst, if he makes it past 10 or 11, I'd be surprised. But I think he's a top 15 pick, and I think he's in play as probably as high as 5, probably as high as where the Bengals pick, because he's needed, and he's the second best offensive lineman in this draft. And you can put him at more than one position if you like. So you guys let me know what you think of Rashawn Slater. I think he's a great player. I think he'll be, a great prospect. And I think he's a starter day one wherever he goes, no matter if it's at guard or tackle. And that's left side, right side, wherever you want to put him. So if you made it this deep into the video, I'm calling you a D6 squad member. If you're a D6 squad member, you got to hit that subscribe button. You got to turn on that notification bell. And listen, I make all kinds of content for NFL teams. So if you're not a Giants fan, don't worry. I'll cover your team. If I'm not covering your team, let me know. And have a good one.